Welcome back to Joelee's, where you can get some spicy sausage, roasted nuts, and the freshest React content on the internet. And today, I'm a little nervous about this one because, I think something about another internet race war. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I love ShoeOnHead, and you know what? Race wars, I don't know. Seems like they could be a coming.
Wake up, maggot! It's time for your annual race war! Oh, you didn't want to be in a race war? Well, too bad. You're in one. Your skin...
Yeah, it does seem... It 100% seems like this is no longer a, it has been forced upon us kind of situation. This is what happens when you give regular, everyday folks the ability to have their thoughts broadcasted on a national level, I guess you would say. Anyways... All right. Also, what June fit? Let's see. I like it. It seems a little. Yeah. It's a good camo here. All right. Let's get in.
Color is your uniform, soldier. Black people on this side, white people on this side, Italians.
In the middle.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
Attention!
I'll tell you one thing. Not on my side.
Which one of you lily lickers mixed the white Monster Energy with the Kool-Aid pineapples? How many times do I have to tell you? No mixin'. Now get suited up, soldier. You're heading into your first battle. The comment section of a Nick Fuentes Instagram reel. God.
Oh. Damn, you're just sending them to slaughter, June. Come on now. Can we start on something small? Like, I don't know, like a Caitlin Clark, foul compilation?
Speed.
Can you be racist? Okay, I think, just to set the stage here just a little bit, I found out about the classic racism equals power plus prejudice, which is a classic educated lib talking point, or, like something that's like, well, obviously, when I was working at my movie theater job back in Austin, shortly after, the movie theater started, of course, there was very much college educated white liberal women, or, white adjacent, we're talking like Hispanic girls who are, would definitely claim their Hispanic heritage until it wasn't advantageous, and vice versa. And I remember we were talking about the TV show that just aired, or just started up, called Rob. I want to say it was called specifically. And it was, Rob Schneider, and it was about his experience getting in with marrying into a Mexican family, which I think Rob Schneider's, he's like a Latin American of some sort. I forget. But I don't think he's not like white or 100% white. Anyways, that's not like that really matters. And she was saying how her friend was live tweeting a thing to do at the time, live tweeting the experience of watching the pilot or the first episode. And I made, mentioning how much racism there was, and I made mention of like, oh yeah, and how much race, how many racial jokes there are from the family towards Rob. And she was not having that. She let me know then and there what real racism was to my uneducated ass, which is, you can't be racist if you're not in power. Only white people can be racist. And because I'm such a conflict avoidant person, I just, threw up my hands and said, okay, I guess so. I guess that kind of makes sense. And that's probably when I started losing my way, honestly. And I'm just now getting back on track. But don't ever look. Hate is hate. Can we just say that? Like, hate is hate, envy, jealousy, all those things, whatever form they take. And you're not these libs aren't going to get anywhere, I think, trying to say that you can only be prejudiced, like that black people or Hispanic people or Chinese, Asian people, whatever, can't be racist. It's like everybody in their heart of hearts knows what racism truly is. You don't need, in fact, like, these college professors who sat down and figured out how to make sure racism could never be applied to their personal group for their personal reasons. It goes against like the obvious, like, you feel it in your stomach. Racism is when you treat another group unfairly because of the color of their skin, or specifically their color of their skin, like, first and foremost. I mean, there's cultural things too, I'm sure, but so just to sum that up, I really wish I could go back and, tell my younger self not to just kowtow to this awful, awful person. Like, she was just one of the worst people I think I've ever met. Her name was Elizabeth. And if you're watching this, Elizabeth, fuck you. You were just such an miserable person to be around and I had to be around you on a daily basis. And I think that most of the other people we worked with thought the same thing of you. So.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of I am your host, ShoeOnHead. You may know me as Timu Boxy, or perhaps the woman who footmogged Hassan Piker.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I know a few of you have come here from that last video, so hello, new friends, and old friends, please say hello to the new friends. Do not scare them away. One of the biggest things that happened when I was gone was the conclusion to the Carmelo Anthony trial. Now, for those of you who are unaware, for those of you who have no idea what has been going on, don't worry about it, kid. No, but what happened was last year during a Texas high school track meet, Carmelo Anthony, a 19-year-old student, and Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old student, got into a heated dispute after Carmelo entered Austin's tent.
Did she say 19-year-old student?
School track meet. Carmelo Anthony, a 19-year-old student, and Austin Metcalf.
I obviously don't want to get too into this, but how is he a 19-year-old student in a high school? I mean, I could see, well, I'm sure there's times when a student turns 19 before they graduate. He was a senior though, with the way that they framed this consistently was that Carmelo was like, I was assuming he was 16 or 15 because they always made it seem like Austin was being a bully to him. And so it automatically gave the power dynamic that Carmelo was younger. So that already is kind of a red flag in terms of how the media has portrayed this, even from my skeptical ass, I still had my assumptions.
A 17-year-old student, got into a heated dispute after Carmelo entered Austin's tent, which was a rivalry school's tent. An argument followed, and then allegedly Carmelo said, "Touch me and see what happens." And so Austin shoved him, and Carmelo pulled a knife out, and yeah. Austin then passed away in his brother's arms. Court argued that that use of force with a knife was completely unjustified, that a single shove did not justify a deadly response. During the
100%, a single shove does not justify a deadly response. I think there's some level of understandable escalation that you have. A shove might have justified, or the very least, a turnaround, a tackle, a fist being thrown. That might have been, that still is even going far for sure. A shove kind of just deserves a shove back. And then it's upon Austin to then escalate, or would have been. God rest his soul.
Trial jurors listened to witnesses' accounts of the events, reviewed video evidence, and after a few days, the jury found Carmelo Anthony guilty and he was sentenced to 35 years in prison. And everyone accepted that outcome because they understand how the law works and they respect our justice system.
Oh, see, this is a classic. See, she's about to turn that around because everything she just said was actually false about how people reacted to the sentence. This is going to be a good one. You guys just watch this.
Haha.
It was one thing when and this is just diluting the positive, strides made, like the say their name movement. I mean, remember, I'm a former leftist and I was definitely on the side. I did attend some of the post George Floyd protests. I think I went out twice into the downtown Austin area. I did not stick around for the ones that were specifically targeted at agitating the police officers. I mostly went to the ones that were outside the Capitol, which were much more just hey, just we're upset and we're hear us out or whatever. But at that time, everybody on the say their name list was victims of the police or of other things, people have actually had fallen victim. You're really destroying or diluting, at the very least, just massively diluting the say their name slogan by applying it to this guy. This guy was a murderer. Anyways, that's, you know, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it.
Only good cracker is a dead cracker.
What?
Only good cracker is a dead cracker.
Okay.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion here.
These kinds of face-to-face, emotion-rising, shouting matches really do no good.
In this video, we are going to discuss the insane reactions to the Carmelo Anthony trial, read some tweets, watch some TikToks, as well as debunk a bunch of misinformation because I am just tired of seeing the same ridiculous, regurgitated talking points repeated ad nauseum by hundreds and thousands of people just believing it as gospel, hyping themselves up into a race war. No, I am not kidding. That is how bad it is getting. Growing up,
I mean, yeah, I think she's, like I said at the start of this video, there seems to almost be an inevitability coming with this. I don't know. We'll figure it out, I'm sure. You can see how nervous I am about talking about this. I really have to tear the Band-Aid off. It's not going to be a good look. It is really, 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 really pushing things back between this, the reactions to this, and now that police body cam footage is out there and people are seeing like what police officers really do have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. You know, there's a lot less sympathy, I think, a lot less empathy for the folks who are calling foul.
I was always told not to judge people based on their appearance, that it didn't matter what gender you were, what your sex.
I would say you can judge people based on their appearance if like those signifiers are, you know, and you know, they're how they keep themselves. There's just like definitely some judgments that are going to be made of seeing a perfectly groomed, well-dressed person of any race versus a, you know, somebody who looks like they've been sleeping on a bench for the past, you know, few weeks. I think that there's some level of judgment that can be had, and granted, there's also, you know, it is like a Christian virtue in order to look at the person who looks like they're down on their luck or disheveled, and that they haven't had like a real good meal or anything for quite some time, and takes empathy on them and actually do something for them. So, anyways.
Sexuality was. Didn't matter if you were short or tall or fat or thin. I was always told that skin color was not important. And it's not. But you know what is important? Your skin's health. So before we get into the video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Henson Shaving.
Wow.
Have you ever wondered what shaving cream is actually doing to your skin? It's fluffy, it's airy, it looks like it's protecting your skin. But the main ingredient in most of these cans is actually propellant. That's what makes it foam up. But the foam is mostly just volume, not function. And the thing that matters when you shave is glide, not volume. There's actually a clinical study that measured the skin irritation after shaving, and it showed that regular shaving foam actually causes more irritation than just shaving with water alone. Not just slightly more, measurably more. Aftershave bombs are also doing something similar. You put them on, you get the little cooling tingle, and you're like, that means it's working. Wrong! That tingle is just menthol activating cold receptors in your skin. It doesn't actually reduce inflammation or heal anything. It does nothing. A lot of guys end up treating the feeling of irritation rather than the irritation itself. Shaving is one of the most aggressive things men do to their skin on a daily basis. The blade passes over the same spot multiple times, stripping off the top layer of your skin, and then your skin is exposed and then loses all its moisture. But men just like rinse off and call it a day. So you got a shaving product that's mostly air, an aftershave that's mostly sensation, and a window between that nobody's addressing. And that's where Henson's 3-step routine comes into play. Step 1, the cleanser. Clears your skin of debris and softens the hair for a smoother shave, followed by a shaving cream that skips the propellants and reduces the friction between the blade and your skin, the thing shaving cream is supposed to do. And once you're done shaving, their post-shave balm helps hydrate and restore your skin's natural moisture barrier, supporting real recovery, instead of just signaling to your silly brain that, ooh, something soothing is happening. So if you want a shaving routine that actually leaves your skin better off and doesn't just feel like it's doing that, check out Henson's 3-step shaving kit. Just head over to hensonshaving.com/June and use code JUNE at checkout after adding your kit to the cart to get free shipping on your order.
All right.
I know a lot of
Didn't
men
skip
just
the ad.
ignore skincare, and trust me, as someone who is going to be a dermatologist, men think they're not aging until one day they wake up and they're their dad.
Yeah.
Take care of your skin. This is a great start, and your skin will thank you for it. Big thanks to Henson for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad.
Yeah, no.
Right? Now, let's get back to the video. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into this, shall we?
Okay.
They found him guilty so fast right before Juneteenth. These folks playing in our faces.
Maybe they found him guilty so fast because he was obviously guilty and the defense didn't do a good enough job to put a shadow of a doubt on his, on how guilty he was. Yeah, I mean, this is just, it was what you would call an open and shut case if it had been a Chinese kid to a Chinese kid or a white kid to a white kid or a Mexican kid to a Mexican kid. Open and shut. We wouldn't be talking about it today.
Carmelo's only crime was not allowing himself to get beat down by a white man. Carmelo will get out of prison. That boy ain't getting out of the grave. If he kept his hands to himself, he'd still be enjoying his white privilege today. White people are not victims of racism. You can't be a victim of a system you created. Hey, 23-year-old
Whoa,
white guy
what?
who can't find a job and still lives with your parents. Did you know you created the entire system we're in right now, and therefore it's totally acceptable to hate you and be racist towards you? This is the same stupid shit they say to men like, oh, you created the patriarchy. Like, who the f are you talking about? Joe Schmo working at Chipotle didn't create shit. The system isn't benefiting white people at all. It's not benefiting anyone except the rich and powerful. The racism equals prejudice plus power bullshit really one-shotted these people, huh? Only a black
did.
child can be
Well,
minding
because
their
it-
business, get ambushed, bullied.
Because the racism equals prejudice plus power essentially was like, here's this special power you have where you cannot be racist. Oh, like it makes it to where the people who subscribe to this and basically the people who are racist can just tell themselves that they actually aren't racist. It's essentially that. It's like, oh, I can say anything because I can't actually be racist because you take such. There's one of my biggest things, and I don't know how to. It should be. I should distill it or like try to cover it more thoroughly. But basically, there's a lot of people out there who have really thoughtful, thought out, big ideas that have to be boiled down to a single sentence that strips all the nuances and all the real thought out of it, and then that's what gets handed to the masses because that's all they are willing to digest. Most likely, that's all that they really have time to stop and actually look at, and then they will then build these people who would never have come to that thought on their own or handed it to them. You hand it to them, and then they get to build an entire poorly thought out philosophy based upon that really thought out, nuanced perspective. And that's when it's a good thought. But racism equals prejudice plus power is basically the academic equivalent of a retarded thought. So you have these folks, you have like a retarded thought being handed to retarded people and they have a field day with it. So yeah, I think that's probably what I could say for the rest of these, or for most of these coming up.
And pushed around and become the aggressor for protecting himself. But he was quite literally not minding his own business. He was in a rival's team tent and was asked to leave like a dozen times. Witnesses say he started escalating it into a fight and then stabbed someone in the fucking heart. That's not minding your business. Why did they hire?
Yeah, exactly. It's like if he was minding his business, he would have, left the tent. He would have, upon being asked.
horrible lawyer. Had to be the worst defense in history. Absolutely no reason Carmelo shouldn't have testified. We gotta do better with who we hire to represent us. Plenty of black lawyers in Texas. His family raised like $1 million on GoFundMe and then blew it all on a new house and a Cadillac. So then they had to get a public defender. That baby was sentenced to 35 years?
Not a baby. He was a 19-year-old man. He could vote.
I love the community note. That murderer was sentenced to 35 years. Black people, please carry more than a pocket knife. Get their asses before they can get you. What the hell do you mean, get their asses before they can get you? That's literally what Carmelo did. He got Austin's ass. He killed him. Why the f are they acting like Carmelo was the one who died? 35 years on your first offense is over sentencing. Yeah.
On your first murder, like, I would expect anybody to get sentenced to 35 years at least on a murder, like, no matter the age. I mean, I just saw this, this video, police investigation video that they'll put out, where they're in the room, police interrogation video, and it was for this 13-year-old who murdered a woman, probably did more than murder. Let's face it. And it was a young white kid. Big surprise. Yes, the whites can also be crazy as hell. And that one was kind of tragic because the murderer, being 13 years old, his maximum sentence was till his 21st birthday. Like, that's when he would be let out, because they couldn't sentence him any longer because of his age. And I thought that was preposterous considering what he did and just how just awful it was. So yeah, I don't understand what people are saying that 35 years on a first offense. We're not talking about, it wasn't even armed robbery. If it was armed robbery, aggravated, even some levels of assault, I probably would be, give you the benefit of the doubt, being like, yeah, okay, maybe 10 to 15, with some severe, like, get your life together. But he took another man's life. He took, he's lucky he's going to see daylight again, honestly. And I think that's going to be interesting. I'm actually should set my alarm on my clock or on my phone to tell me when, be expecting Carmelo Anthony to be getting out of prison. if X is still around, it's going to get lit.
There has to be a retrial. This is blatant injustice. First offense. And the offense in question is murder. Your Honor, it was only his first murder. 35 years ago, killing a Nazi got you a Purple Heart, but now that a German American is president...
That's the other thing that I cannot stand about this conversation, is that the people, who are trying to put down, like trying to destroy, smother the character of Austin. I don't know too much about this guy, but I don't think he was a Nazi. Just because he had an altercation with a black man doesn't make somebody a Nazi. That would be ridiculous. And I don't think, okay, let me put this in context. If a Nazi member of the Nazi party was traveling in America in 1938, and some guy who didn't know the person was a Nazi got into an altercation with said Nazi and stabbed him at a bar or something like that, he probably would not have gotten a Purple Heart. He would have been sent to jail. Like, that's, just because it's not wartime. It's not wartime yet, at least, according to how things are ratcheting up.
It gets you a life sentence. All white people deserve no mercy. Now Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old, is a Nazi because he was white. Also, 35 years ago... Does this dude think World War II was in 1991? Black Americans, arm yourselves. This country is officially a terrorist state of white supremacists. You have no reason to abide by or follow any more laws in this country. Law enforcement and these politicians are all terrorists. Let it all fall. Time for judgment. Just as I suspected. Schizophrenia. I recommend logging the f*** off.
100%. You gotta stop. If you find yourself, and maybe I need to be logging out myself. If you find yourself this deep into a hole like this, and you're actively saying, stop abiding by the laws of your land, just because this one decision went the way that everybody would have expected it to, if you like took out the one racial component. Yeah.
These people just live in a completely different reality. A guy gets put in prison for murder, and they're like, wow, what's the point of even following the law anymore? Having a black son gotta be the tops of fears. I'm going insane. It was the white son that was murdered. Why are they acting like the black son was murdered? Why are you scared of having a black son in this context? Oh, I'm so scared my son will stab someone and go to jail one day. Like, what? What? It's only self-defense when a black kid dies. Literally, multiple witnesses, including black witnesses, including Carmelo's own friends, said that Carmelo was the aggressor in the situation. Also, just in general, murder is not the acceptable punishment for a shove, for a push. That's not how that works. 50,000 likes on that bullshit, by the way. 50,000 people saw that and were like, hell yeah. Black kids are the only kids.
I'm happy if I get like 300 likes on something. Hey, if you go and follow me on Twitter, please, or on X, whatever it is, and like my stuff. I'd appreciate it.
Who can't afford to make mistakes without dire consequences. Your Honor, it was a mistake. My client did a little oopsie poopsie, a little fucky wucky ooh woo, if you will. Black people are held to a higher standard than every other race. We are expected to be perfect, while others are given grace, excuses, and— Hey, stop. Just a reminder that this is all in context of the Carmelo Anthony situation. So the held to a higher standard, in this case, the higher standard of do not stab people. I'm sorry, okay, go on. One mistake by a black person gets used to judge an entire community. Oops, I fell and my knife accidentally stabbed your heart.
Austin fell onto Carmelo's knife trying to attack him because the knife is 3.5 inches. The cut was only 2.
I'm crashing out. I'm crashing the f out. Please let the next one be somewhat rational. Y'all gentlemen are so fucking dumb. Y'all really thought that he was gonna get away with stabbing that kid to death. I can tell a lot of you were raised by hoes. Finally, a normal, sane person. A strong black father tells you early that you can't get away with the same shit whites do. Oh, goddamn it. Had me.
If somebody could, this might really turn my perspective around. If somebody could give me, something within the last, 20 years of a white guy being completely let off scot-free from killing a black person, or just anybody, and really, without there being some sort of complication, something as cut and dry as this, like a argument went from like a basic argument to one of the people is now dead. No self-defense. Like, I want to say that a lot of people pointed to, what was that kid's name? I should say kid. That adult man who brought a gun to a protest, but I forget what his name was. But essentially, a lot of people use him as a counter argument. But I've also heard a lot of people say that his case is different because he was legitimately acting in self-defense when you watch the footage back. So, yeah, I'm just like, if there could be one where the person got off and all the evidence was just pointing to it being just straight up a escalation beyond reasonable doubt, man. I'm coming off of being sick yesterday, so I'm starting to think that I might not be at my top-notch ability to do this right now, my top-notch ability to think properly, but, we power on.
In the first half. When do white people get away with stabbing?
Yeah.
What is this? Where do these people live? Earth 2! Culture. When you get called for jury duty, do that shit. Make sure you do your part in serving justice. Every black defendant in every court everywhere is Carmelo Anthony. Every black—
This is not doing what you hope it to be doing, person on X. Like, if everybody was Carmelo Anthony, then they would all deserve at least 35 years in jail.
defendant in every court everywhere is Carmelo Anthony. Every black defendant in every court case everywhere is a murderer. Are you sure that's what you want to go with? I love how he's basically like, go do jury duty so you can go blindly support any black person regardless of what they did. What the like, I don't support every white person. Some of you are dumb. What's wild 100%. Is this wasn't even like a cop kills black guy thing where like there might be some debate about like police brutality and over policing and things like that. No, this was just straight up a black kid stabbed a white kid and they're losing their minds because he's going to prison over it. Fascinating.
Carmelo Anthony had been white. Not only would he have not been convicted, there'd have never been charges.
Who the fuck is this guy? Oh, this guy's almost like trying to play the role of like the guy you would expect to have have been calling for Carmelo to be hung, and this guy's like kind of playing that role. What's up with him? This is interesting. I wonder what that pin is.
Only reason Carmelo Anthony was convicted was because we are a broken fucking bigoted country and Carmelo Anthony was black.
Wow, thanks for the input, gay Colonel Sanders. I fucking hate the Yellowstone hicklib bit. Oh, I'm a big tough country cowboy. Y'all better not say them slurs around here. Yeehaw! Wow, just freaking wow. Disgusting. This is not justice. This is trying to make an example. Dear white...
I do want to say, justice is making an example. Like, that's how... I personally am under the opinion, and other people, like people who are into, was it retributional justice, might disagree with me, but I'm more of the style of we give people harsh sentences in order to dissuade anybody else from doing what they did. And you can say like, oh, psychologically that doesn't make any sense or blah blah blah, but it's like I don't think of justice as being a tool for revenge. I think of justice as being a tool to show everybody else what the expectations are and what you will get in trouble for. At least that's my way of looking at it as of right now.
People, don't let this verdict fool you. You'll still get fucked up playing the Austin games. Don't let this verdict of a guy who stabbed someone fool you. You're still gonna get stabbed. What? Strong suspicion that a lot of pro-Carmelo stuff I see here is some psyop. Bro, this is what I tried to tell myself for like 6 years about the online left. It's all a CIA psyop from the billionaires to make leftism look as unappealing as possible to the working class. Bro, of course an all-white jury found a black boy.
She nailed it right there. Like, that is... I was very much a leftist, but always with the caveat of I am not here for the racial, what should I say, retribution kind of stuff. I'm not here for the more social justice-y aspects. I was there for let's try to get the working class people what they deserve. And and yeah, and then like, so you have to sit in the same rooms as the people who are much more about this, like, these racial grievances, politics and things like that. And you just have to kind of grin and bear it and just sort of ignore just how ridiculous what they call for and, what they bring up. And it gets to be way too much. And you just start questioning the entire thing. And all of a sudden, you're going to find yourself listening to the people who actually criticize them, and it really there's a lot of points that are made.
Guilty for defending himself. Fuck you, racist white pieces of shit. Fuck you, racist white pieces of shit. That sounds extremely racist. Black people can't be racist, stupid hoe. It was not an all-white jury. There were Asian people, there were Hispanic people, and the black people they did ask to do jury duty in this case turned it down because they admitted they would be too biased. Like, they literally said they would just vote not guilty because Carmelo is black. On one hand, I appreciate the honesty. On the other hand, what the f***?
If they say, can you be fair? Don't say, no, I'm not finna put a black man in jail. Don't say that. Don't say, I hate white people and I don't care what he did. Don't do that. That's what people were doing in this case. Okay. And then everybody's like in an uproar because there's no black people on the jury when damn near half of the black people who could have been on the jury canceled themselves out. You know? Don't do that. Y'all be regular.
Overruled.
Just be regular.
Oh, God.
That's right. Get in there and lie to the court so you can free a person because he murdered a white guy. Incredible stuff. Also,
Remember, you are swearing on a Bible, and if you are somebody who has like any Christian values, that should really make you question if you're going to lie, to God Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. Got to double think that. Got to question how much you're willing to go in the paint for your, racial grievances at that point.
like how they said, just be regular. Just be regular. Just get on the jury so you can free the murderer. Then return to acting irregular. This case is really affecting me, making me want to go to law school and fight for my people. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Your people being murderers? Is that what you're talking about? Murderers? Your people being murderers? Also, if by some miracle you happen to get into law school, you'll be disappointed to find out that intentionally stabbing someone and killing them is in fact murder, regardless of what your skin color is. And there were some people coming at me like, oh, I bet you'll defend Chud the Builder. And like, first of all, who the f*** is Chud the Builder? This is how I know I'm getting old. They keep making these random fucking streamers in a vat overnight and then like releasing them. Did you hear about PP?
The only thing I'll defend Chud the Builder on is dating trans women, because there's nothing wrong with that. They're lovely people. You should just be honest about it up front. You shouldn't be trying to hide it away. Just think of it as some sort of sin. It's amazing how many people came out to defend him too, like online, just in the same way. And it's obviously not the same style or the same magnitude, but the same way that, a lot of people came out and defended Carmelo Anthony. A lot of people were trying to jump through hoops to defend Chud the Builder for having dated a trans woman and there being photographic proof of it. So, just remember that. Like I say, I'm a fence sitter at the end of the day. And the reason I say you need to sit on the fence is so you rise yourself above the other sides. Get up and get a better perspective on everything.
Boy 57, like, no, I didn't. I don't know who that is. If Chud the Builder killed someone, or in this case, attempted to kill someone, then he should face consequences for that. Yes. Okay, your turn. Should Carmelo Anthony face consequences? No? Oh, that's weird. Looks like only one of us is the hypocrite here. See, I am not like you. I have a functioning brain and an IQ of probably maybe over 100. I can look at things on a case-by-case basis and not blindly support or attack something like a mindless drone. Let's go see what they're saying over on Blue Sky, shall we? Fellow white people. Never mind. I'm done again. Bye. Stay out of black people's mentions about Carmelo Anthony. We are the reason not one black juror was seated. We are the reason that an appeal filed on those grounds will surely fail. We are the reason Jim Crow is once again law of the land. Oh my god! What?
Jim Crow? Jim Crow. It's not like Carmelo Anthony was sentenced to 30. In the Jim Crow era, Carmelo Anthony would have been dragged out of that courtroom upon being found guilty before sentencing even happened and hung from a tree. That's what happened to young black men who were found guilty in the Jim Crow era. Let's not try to pretend that this is anything close to that. That was obviously a worse era and of very much what's the term I'm looking for here? Bad racial stuff. Yeah, it's not like we've gone back in time all of a sudden because some kid got the consequences to his actions.
What has this country come to when a man can't freely murder another man in cold blood and get away with it? Literally Jim Crow. Yeah, white people cannot be trusted after this trial with Carmelo Anthony. Honestly, that 35-year sentence coming down on the teenager Carmelo Anthony felt like a proxy for a lynching.
No, it's not a proxy for a lynching, because a lynching is a lynching. Carmelo Anthony would be dead if there was a lynching. It's a huge difference, right? Like, it's not, and this was carried out through the proper channels. through the proper procedure. A lynching, by definition, like, because there's a difference between a lynching and like even an execution by hanging from the neck. Like the difference being that if he was executed by hanging from the neck, which is not going to happen in this century, well, maybe. But if it had been a execution by hanging from the neck, it still would have been lawful in the courts because it would have been found, like he would have been found guilty, and or not just found guilty, but that would have been the verdict, the sentence as decided upon by either the judge or peers, and it would have been a lawful sentence. Lynching, I don't think, was ever a lawful sentence.
Carmelo Anthony defended himself against 2 white supremacists.
What?
Now that black people stand up for themselves, white fragility is taking over. They simply can't handle it. He saved himself from being lynched, and now he has to spend decades in prison. F***ing racist country.
How did he save himself from being lynched? Are you saying that Austin was about to lynch him? That he is going to escalate from shoving to lynching? No, I don't think so. I think maybe Carmelo Anthony would have lynched Austin. Seems like it was within his wheelhouse of activities that he would do to a fellow man.
Huh? He was being lynched? Yes. Do these people live in the Netflix adaptation version of reality or something? What is going on?
That is a great way. That's a great way to put it. Netflix adaptation version of reality. I think we want to use that one.
Stabby, jail. No stabby, no jail. The only reason Carmelo was convicted is because he was black. If this was a white...
And I've been living with this. I've been on X way too much recently. It's become my new Reddit, unfortunately. I've been in it, and I still haven't seen this much, like these many. When you see it back to back like this, it's the next level. Like, it just breaks your brain. My brain is broken. I'm coming out of being sick, and I think I'm getting sick all over again. I'm probably going to vomit all over my bathroom after this.
Boy, there would never be charges files. I decree that the people who was involved with this case will begin to reap the unjust decision upon their own head to 1,000 generation. All you bigoted racist people. An all-white jury. Of course Carmelo Anthony would be convicted. Not an all-white jury. Yes, an all-white jury. Stop trying to make excuses for racism. No, not an all-white jury. Who are they trying to convince? Other people or themselves? Anyone defending Carmelo Anthony knows that they're not defending him in good faith. Carmelo is obviously guilty of a murder that he intentionally instigated. Defending murders like this only hurts the black community. We need to hold ourselves accountable and hold ourselves to a higher standard. Oh my god, a normal person on Blue Sky. Bro, what are you doing? Get out of there. Go, run.
Get back to X where it's safe.
An all-white jury in Texas convicted Carmelo Anthony of murder. Proof that the U.S. never ended the practice of lynching. They let the courts do it instead. You don't have...
Well, that's the point of... Like, that's what makes it not a lynching, is if it's done legally, if it's a legal process with procedure in place. He went through the procedure, and he still was convicted because he murdered a person. And then he wasn't lynched. He was put in jail for 35 years, which is pretty freaking reasonable for murdering somebody, especially somebody who was entering the prime of their life.
To support what Carmelo Anthony did, to recognize the problem with sentencing a child to spend 35 years in prison based off of the deliberations of an all-white jury. Said it again, award! Said it again, award! All-white jury! All-white jury! It's time to play Horseshoe Theory! Contestant number 1. Here is the tweet. Stop sending your kids to these race schools.
Oh, stop sending your kids to these black schools. Definitely a white supremacist.
Oh, I'm sorry. The tweet is stop sending your kids to these white schools. And it came from the account Dapper Domo, who is black. You know what that means? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Into the pit! Stop bringing non-black people into black spaces. Teach your kids to defend themselves.
How was wasn't Carmelo the one going into somebody else's space? If this had to do with that case, also, that was a very public space. It was the bleachers of a school's athletic track meet. Pretty sure that means that it was, well, for lack of better words, a public space, not a black space, not a white space. There's plenty of spaces that are meant for everybody. I will give you, there are definitely black spaces, black churches, probably certain barbershops. Those are the first two that come to mind. Yeah, I don't know. It's very disappointing. Yeah. What would constitute a black space out of that situation?
By any means possible. Keep your black kids in black spaces as much as possible. Keep your black children away from these devils.
If we had segregation still, none of this would have happened.
Oh my God. I thought it was parody when I was younger. When I was a younger man and I saw something about like a woman, specifically putting out an apartment, like looking for a roommate, and I think she specifically put in that she was looking for a non-white roommate. Maybe I'm misremembering this, but I felt like that was something that made like some level of like internet headlines, like on Reddit or something like that. And people were saying, "Oh, they want people want segregation again, or this is going to lead to another version of segregation, or like we're going to reverse ourselves into segregation again." And I was like, "That's ridiculous." I really wish I was better at seeing the future.
He wouldn't have had no interactions with any white boy because we would have been in an all-black school.
We are going to reverse engineer segregation, aren't we?
Yes.
But wokely. We don't want those evil white people drinking out of the same water fountain as us, am I right? Honestly, my honest, real opinion about this, my hot take of the video, everybody, here it comes. Lukewarm, microwaved, 4-day-old mac and cheese take, here it comes. If they want to go make their own, like, all-black schools, all-black towns, they should be allowed to.
Yeah.
Go for it. Black
Actually,
people want to go create Wakanda? They should be able to. But white people should be allowed to create Agartha. If people want to willingly segregate themselves, they should be allowed to go ahead and do that. Deadass, who cares? Everyone else can live in a desegregated society. They can go have their ethnostates. But there's only one side that will not be able to do that. I always wondered though, let's say they do make a white ethnostate. What counts as white? Because 100 years ago, I would not have counted as white. I'm Ellis Island Mystery Meat.
Yes, yeah. Southern Italy or Northern Italy, Central Italy. I can't believe I watched this woman. Jesus Christ. She has a little bit of Ireland, some Scotland. Yeah, well, she's 100% Italian, though. She's like over 50% Italian. So that decides that.
Is there like a one-drop rule? Do they like whip out the eye chart at the gate and they're like, yes, A10s, you may enter. Is Brittany Venti allowed in the white ethnostate? Honestly,
yes, 100%. She got my vote.
she's like an honorary Aryan at this point. She white mogs me. Anyway, we are getting distracted. Where were we?
Everybody. She white mogs me.
Ah, yes. Hell. We were in hell. I'm black. I haven't stabbed anyone in the chest after being asked to leave a tent. I'm not in prison. I'm free. It's not hard to not commit a crime. Listen, I appreciate the sentiment here, but how did we get to a point where this is like a breath of fresh air? Let's check the replies. Hopefully people are agreeing. Shut your hoe ass up. Emmett Till didn't commit a crime either. What happened to him? You're not black. You're not black. You're a boy, you ain't black. You may be black, but you ain't black. Yes,
Yeah, that's what happens. Like once disagreement comes in here, just like with like leftist politics, hell, the Republicans do it too. Rhinos, and that's way easier to deal with because that is just a philosophy that people put on. So like, yeah, if a Republican disagrees with their party and starts getting labeled as a rhino, Republican name only, it's much more defendable because that is actually an ideology that you sort of have to be at some level of agreement with the others to take on that name. But the fact that your skin tone doesn't get you access to the label that your skin tone should give you access to is fucking ridiculous.
Being black is supporting all black people everywhere, regardless of what they have done. All the normal black people are just called like pick-me's. They're called pick-me's for having a brain and not going along with this race grievance bullshit. Every time like they speak out about this, they're just called the C word. You know what I mean? The term for this animal. Is that a slur? Like I know what that's like.
You know, I think it depends on where in the country you are. I think it's like more associated with that thing being racial, because I think in Texas, my parts of Texas, you wouldn't think twice about it actually being used in a racial context. Correct me, you know, let me know if that's like, because it feels like, for some reason, it feels like either Deep South or like, you know, the racist parts of the North kind of way of talking about a race. It's a slur maybe in those areas.
To a degree, granted, it's over me making fun of like women on TikTok, but like I know what it's like watching people in your community act like fucking morons. I feel you, my brothers. Oh my god, editor, edit that out.
Keep it in.
Edit that out. By the way, if you want an uncensored, uncucked version of this video and all the videos a day early, sign up to be a member on my Patreon. Link down below. All Patreon members get the uncensored, uncucked version. You can hear me say it.
I almost wonder if she's censoring more words than she needs to, because I did actually note how often I heard the beep in this video. I wonder if she's like maybe overdoing it in order to really make the Patreon enticing. Because she even censored the M word, the erder, and the ab words. But also, like, YouTube is ridiculous in terms of like what it will auto-moderate and demonetize people for. I can't imagine this video doesn't instantly get like demonetized. Like somebody is going to see the subject matter of this video and just instantly tick it off for being demonetized. But that's why she has her own sponsors.
Anyway, let's get back to the video. Oh my god.
This is a racist ass country. We're in a racist ass state.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but all countries are racist ass countries. We just happen to live in a country where we all have to interact with each other.
This is a racist ass court. There ain't nothing else to talk about.
First of all, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was staring at her titties the whole time. Those are giant titties. Just left the courthouse, and any white person can get it for real. I don't give a f it. Dig Austin Metcalf up and stab his ass again. Apparently, a bunch of people on TikTok are doing the Austin Bop, where they dance to a song made about Austin Metcalf's murder while reenacting the stabbing.
Austin Bop, knife had blood on the tip when he dropped. How the f you gonna stop me? Going out back, Marlo out the box.
They were also making AI photos of themselves pissing on Austin's grave. You know, I was always told not to judge people by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And boy, am I judging these people by the content of their character. What the f these people
Amen.
are freaks. Martin Luther King Jr. would be rolling in his grave looking at all this. Carmelo Anthony, a black teenager, has been sentenced to 35 years in prison after being convicted by a jury with no black jurors. Oh god, here we go again. No black jurors. Who is this moron? Who is this idiot? Oh! Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. Wonderful. Awesome. I'm done. It's been a good 12 years, but I'm done. Channel's done. Video's over. This officially broke me. I'm done. Go watch Moist Critical. Go watch Asmongold. I'm done.
My two favorite whites.
And right off the bat, man, free Carmelo.
Oh,
straight up. I don't give a fuck about no white lies. F that cracker. We smoking on that Austin Pat. I don't care anymore because it ain't no good in this shit. It ain't nothing good that's in this shit.
If you hired an artist, a racist artist, to draw a racist version of a person of a certain ethnicity, it wouldn't be as racist as characterized as this person. Oof.
But they trying to lay the law down. All that shit. Y'all gotta give it up. Y'all gotta give it up.
Like, I don't care anymore because it ain't no good in that shit. It ain't nothing good that's in this shit, but they try to lay the law down up that shit. Y'all gotta give it up. Y'all gotta give it up. Beautifully said. Thank you, sir.
There isn't a black American on earth that is surprised by what just happened to Carmelo Anthony. Not one black face in that jury box, not one peer, not one person who has ever navigated this country in melanated skin. And if you think that doesn't...
I'm going to bet that if they were sitting in the jury box, they wouldn't have stabbed a man. You know, that's still a pretty big dividing line here. Is anybody who had made it to the jury probably would not have been a murderer.
Then you haven't been paying attention to the last 400 years of American history because you don't want to. This is not new. This is the system working exactly as it was designed.
First of all, the Black Panther LARP is cringe.
I would hope it's the system working as designed, because that means that justice was served. And from my perspective, justice was served. I'm actually very happy that the system did what it did. I mean, honestly, like, the biggest thing I would be disappointed in is that he got such a light sentence, honestly. But he was just a boy. We had to show him some mercy, huh?
It's gotta go. This isn't the 1960s. You aren't protesting segregation. You're making a fucking TikTok video, okay? Second of all, this is the system working exactly how it was designed. Yeah, I'd hope. When you kill someone, you go to jail. Like, am I missing something? It was actually a refreshing change that the system was working for once. I'm tired of waking up to headlines like, man who raped corpse on subway gets 5 years in jail. Like, I'm not kidding. That was like a real headline I saw the other day.
I'ma say it since nobody else can say it. Austin. Glad your ass dead. Austin, fuck his family, and I hope they get this message to have a up day in here, Austin. I hope you over there burning up, bitch.
I'm so proud of y'all for kicking that white boy. See, they not used to this happening to them, y'all. My only problem is it should happen more. Can we please pick a day where we just them white people up? Matter of fact, I wish I knew where the little white boy grave was so I can go spit on that bitch.
How the f are any of these videos still up? There were so many.
I mean, a similar thing happened with the post-Charlie Kirk, which was one of the things that radicalized me, I think, or, you know, at the very least moved me to firmly saying that I was no longer part of the left, was the reaction that people had to the Charlie Kirk assassination and how much they reveled and were happy about him dying. And yeah, so this is very similar to that, and it's not going... Maybe we were meant to, you know, go through this period in human social evolution where we all get the opportunity to say exactly what's on our mind and blare it out to everybody else, because it's from where I'm sitting and from what I'm perceiving, that it will weed people out. And maybe after a few generations of forward-facing camera videos, there will be fewer people who would be so bold as to put themselves out there like that. I don't know. Kind of come to a thought. It's not totally formed, and also I am definitely feeling my illness not being completely done. But yeah, no, it's like there's like maybe a little level of social Darwinism going on with social media, and if we let people keep doing this. But the problem is like there's going to be some, you know, they're going to find their own like little bubble and possibly be able to breed within that. I don't know. It's a theory, but it's probably not a good theory unless actually, man, all roads lead to a very dark place.
Of these videos, are these people like CIA psyops?
I know.
I'm doing it again.
Yeah, we wish they were. We wish that could be.
This got so bad that people were actually going out and assaulting white people to get revenge. Obviously, I can't show these videos, but there were multiple incidences of this. These people live in a delusional alternate reality, and they're becoming radicalized to take revenge for shit that isn't even f***ing happening. But like every other f***ing week, I have to read another stupid New York Times article about how like 20-year-old white boys are being radicalized into the alt-right because they watch Jordan Peterson or some shit. Like, f*** you. And like, people have been so brainwashed to believe that they're racist because they post like edgy memes. No, you're not f***ing racist with your 4chan memes. These people are racists. You're like a level 1, maybe level 2 racist. These are like level 9 racists. You have no idea what racism is. I've seen your friend groups. Racist friend groups do not care what race you are as long as you are also racist. These people are
The way God intended, brother. Oh man. Seeing a young white boy with a young Hispanic boy with a young black boy all getting together and using slurs at each other and laughing about it. That's why I'm proud to be an American.
significantly more racist than you will ever be. Hell, even the KKK, level 10 racists, wore hoods to conceal their identities. These people are out here posting this shit. Full government name and face.
I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more.
I would hope so. I'm guessing if this is how you feel about the situation, I hope those boys go and raise themselves.
That ass got to look at my sweet innocent son one day and explain to him that people hate us simply because we were born black. What am I supposed to tell my son? I don't f***ing know. Not to kill people? Like, okay, sorry. I don't know what it's like to be black, okay? I don't know. Maybe it's a completely different experience that I will never understand. But in this case, nobody is hating Carmelo because he is black. They are hating Carmelo because he killed someone. I basically said this on Twitter and some liberal account was like, remember when Shoe was a leftist? Ah yes, the famous leftist policy, being pro-murder. I remember back when ShoeOnHead was...
I mean, like, yeah, if you look at most leftist places where leftism really took a hold, I'm pretty sure that they have like an ethnic, a limited ethnic palette spectrum within those countries. I don't know how many non-Cubans you would find in Cuba and the USSR. You know, I don't think there was that many. Like what, Asians in Russia? You know, how many Indians in China? I don't know. And in these communist places, did they really have to deal with real racism or racial? I don't want to say segregation, racial. Just the racial junk. I don't know.
Pro-murder. Silly me! How could I fall so far? Leftism isn't about wealth inequality or workers' rights, no. It's about letting black people stab white people. Clearly. To be completely honest, I have seen what being a good leftist is to you people, and with all due respect, you fucking no thank you.
We also know now that yes, Carmelo Anthony may have had a tool in his backpack that no, he shouldn't have brought it to a track meet, but it was there. It had a 3.5.
What was the name of that tool? Was it a screwdriver? If he had murdered Austin with a screwdriver, would that have made any difference? No, actually, it probably would have gone. If he had, I'm pretty certain that if he had used a tool that wasn't a knife, he probably would have gotten a worse sentence.
Inch blade, but also in that backpack, he had snacks.
We are living in the retarded age. But it's because everybody has a camera. Like, it used to be that there was some level of vetting. There was some level of... And also, is my... Okay, I might have forgotten to lock in my white balance. Anyways, it used to be that there was some level of vetting before you could get into a public platform and just say shit. Like, now... you just have to have a phone. You have to have enough money to get an iPhone. And then you can turn on that front-facing camera and say whatever the hell comes across your mind. Whatever opinions you're feeling that day, you can put into the internet. And this is kind of a bad thing, because what I'm trying to say is we need gatekeeping. Gatekeeping was important. I think there should be some level of, like, I can't just record myself and put myself out there. It's probably bad for all of us. It's bad for all of us for various reasons.
He had school puzzles, and he had a cross.
Your Honor, yes, the defendant may have had a knife, but he also had Cool Ranch Doritos. I rest my case. Real lawyer, by the way. That woman is a real lawyer. There were thousands and thousands of videos and tweets just like this. You probably get the point. These weren't just like cherry picked. They were everywhere. But it wasn't just Twitter nobodies and blue sky nobodies. There was also sitting Congress people saying this insane shit.
Black women live in fear and agony every single day. A fear and agony that I promise you, the Metcalfs probably never spent a day living that way.
Yes, someone's teenage son was murdered, but please keep in mind the real victims here. Black women.
I don't know what he had. It was like it seemed like it was a multi-tool, almost like a Swiss Army. Like with the little scissors and everything and whatever. So it was small.
Your Honor, the knife my client used to kill the man was small.
Yes.
What? By the way, I've not seen a single Democrat politician come out and disavow this idiot. So until then, I'm just going to assume they all agree. What's funny is they can't come out and disavow it because they'll all be attacked and called racist, and they know it. This was a viral Substack written by a university professor. Are you ready for this? Dear Jeff Metcalf, your son is dead because you failed to teach him that black boys have boundaries. Yesterday evening, Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, used his victim impact statement to address Carmelo Anthony directly after he was sentenced to 35 years after the court treated his act of survival as murder. The elder Metcalf reportedly described Austin as a boy, twin, son, leader, true warrior. He remembered him as a baby grabbing his finger. He talked about teaching him to fish, watching him take his first buck, and seeing him grow up too fast. He spoke of a scholarship created in Austin's memory, and said his family has been robbed. And right there, his own words, Jeff Metcalf told on himself. In your own memorial language, you told us about the kind of white boyhood Austin was raised inside. It was a boyhood steeped in conquest language, hunting rituals, warrior fantasies, masculine toughness, and the romance of force. You told us about a child praised for not just being kind, curious, gentle, or careful, but for becoming a leader and a warrior.
Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid that somebody becomes a leader. Not like the world needs leaders.
In a racist culture where those words too often mean dominance. This...
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, but something just so dumb entered my brain that I feel like I lost something. It was like 9/11 for my head.
Psycho saw a grieving father describe his son as a leader and a warrior and freak the fuck out because his son is white and therefore that's like white supremacy or some shit. In their world, white people are like only allowed to hate themselves, right? That's why libs are often the way that they are, just like absolute cucks, just like rolling over and showing their bellies. Haha, white people can't dance. Haha, white people, like, they don't season their food. Because being anything other than that gets you treated like this. Reminder that this is a professor in a college teaching students right now, and you wonder why people are the way that they are. I swear we had it made in the 90s.
I honestly, like, probably going to college for some people is like the worst thing that they could do.
I swear that was like peak normalcy. Do you feel that way? Maybe I'm just like a stupid millennial, like nostalgia because I was a child back then and didn't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like race relations were better back then because it was all like, oh, we don't see color. And then they flipped it and they were like, actually, if you don't see color, you're racist. You have to acknowledge your white privilege and you're a colonizer. Like, what the f? I feel like my worldview's just been shattered. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? We can't just all be in a circle and sing Kumbaya. What?
She brings up a great point there, and this is something I definitely think is, having observed it from multiple sides, it's almost like every day, and this is, yet again, going to say this from the perspective of being, kind of the fence sitter perspective, as I like to have. It's true on both sides that, like, when you are entrenched in this and you want your side to win no matter what, you wake up, you look at the news, and you try to decide what is the best way for me to keep the conflict going and for it to be positioned to where I'm somehow favored. Like, I look like the victim and I'm favored to win. And you change that. It's like the body cam footage situation, as, you know, I really should. I mean, I'm not a subscriber to Nebula, but I really want to see Lindsay Ellis's video about the body cam to see what her argument is on, like, why body cams are good actually, or bad, after all that time of trying to get body cams on police officers. I'd like to see, like, there must be some nuance to what she's saying, and like some reason that she's saying that body cams are maybe need to stop. Maybe making the footage public is what she wants to stop. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, it's like it's like, yeah, once the argument stops working, or once the new perspective stops working for making them the, you know, the people who are like, you know, destined to win, but as of right now, the victims, like that's the situation you want to be in. Perpetually the obvious, like the obvious winner. Like you're always going to be the winner, but you're never not. I'm trying to brain work with me here. Sorry. Now I'm starting to wonder if I should have eaten. I tried eating, and now I'm thinking that might have been a bad idea. But basically, it's like I need to frame this in such a way that I am obviously right, but I'm also obviously, as of right now, the victim. And if that framing doesn't work, I will change the framing. Or if that framing works too well, and I'm getting too close to being the victor, then I need to change the framing so I become the victim again.
What is this? Like, I was always taught from my parents, from my teachers, like, we shouldn't judge people on their skin color, blah, 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 blah. And, like, were these people just not taught that? Were they not taught that? I feel like they were just taught from a young age, like, white people bad, like, it was just hammered into their fucking heads. And, like, honestly, like, white people get told that in, like, university. Like, they go to college and they get told, white people bad, white people bad. It's really upsetting that a family had to bury their child, and it's all being overshadowed by insane people trying to make it about race. In a normal world, it wouldn't be about race, but we don't live in a normal world. I would like to believe a majority of people don't believe in some, like, civil war, race war thing and still believe in the kumbaya bullshit. Like, I just want to be like, okay, this is just a minority of crazy people on the internet. At least that's what I tell myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that video. Yes. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of my brain breaking. If you like this video, please subscribe. And if you can, donate to my Patreon, link down below. We have started doing Patreon only live streams. The last one was a lot of fun, so I would love to see you there at the next one. And I will see you guys soon with a new video.
I would prescribe to June. I would say you should subscribe to ShoeOnHead, and I would prescribe to June that she do a light, fun topic soon, because I think she's gone a little too hard on the very serious cultural stuff. She should do a feel-good video, and as I suggested in on X, I think she should do a video on the Europeans and Japanese, like, you know, the people from around the world who are coming to America and discovering how awesome America is, and, you know, leaving home to, you know, going back to their homes with a newfound appreciation for the American way of life and our spirit. You know, it's like this World Cup is truly turning into a wonderful, what is the term here? Like, you know, cultural exchange. Oh, she didn't like really set up her end screen, did she? Usually she has her like patrons come through here. Oh, me.
Yes, I may have murdered someone, but you're racist, and that's worse.
Yeah, it does feel like that, don't it? Like the worst thing you can be, like, is a racist. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you could subscribe to my channel and like this video. Also, I am going to be moving these reactions to being something I do on Twitch or streaming in general. So if you go to Twitch, you will find me at Joelee_X. Joelee_X. You can also follow me on X. X at the Joel Watts, I want to say. Anyways, so please follow me there. You know, we're going to be doing more of this, and I will hopefully see y'all soon. Otherwise, please enjoy yourselves.